Dear friends, I'm very happy to welcome you to our online event, Buying Property in Cyprus. And first of all, I want to say big thank you that you found time in your busy schedule and that you are interested to find out a little bit more about our wonderful island and about how to live here, what points to consider, and what point to consider when you're buying property. And before we start, I will be very grateful, like while we're waiting for people to join, because we actually have many registrations today, which always makes me very happy because it shows that there are people interested to find out more about our country. So first, please, I will be very happy and grateful if you just write what country you are listening from, because it will also help me to talk more about points that are more relevant to your country. Okay, so, and let's start. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Anastasia Yianni, and I'm the CEO and partner of Cyprus Sotheby's International Realty. But as I always say, I think that the most important is that I'm the person who actually now, my God, 22 years ago moved to Cyprus. And since then, I built my life and my career here in Cyprus. And that's why I believe that we can always, and all the team, we can give not only professional opinion, but also talk about lifestyle, talk about what point to consider. And now, wow, my God, it's so we have Austria, Netherlands, Israel. To all the listeners from Israel, first of all, I really want to wish this war to finish as soon as possible, because it's just like a wish that everyone is safe and that the war finishes as soon as possible. We have UK, Sweden, PAFOS, Lebanon, Dubai, Germany. Again, guys, this just shows that Cyprus indeed is the place that is very welcoming and very comfortable to live and to relocate. But I will talk about it much more during my presentation. So I've been living in Cyprus for the last 22 years, and for actually 21 years, I've been working in Cyprus real estate. And I love real estate. I understand real estate, both for personal use, but also for investment. So that's why any questions that you have during the webinar, the chat is not censored, so you can send any questions, and I'm always very careful and very respectful to time. So even though we have lots of information, I actually changed the program and added lots of important stuff. I always try to finish within 1 hour, and I will definitely leave enough time to answer your questions. Apart from that, you can always book your private free consultations with our expert just if you press the button on top of our presentation. So Cyprus Sotheby's International Realty is part of international network, probably the largest international real estate brokerage network in the world, Sotheby's International Realty. And I just came from Leadership Summit of EMEA region, and I want to say once again that what does this mean for us in practical terms? It means that we can understand that when you're in Germany, when you're in Israel, when you're in Netherlands or in Sweden, you have lots of options. There are many countries that could be suitable for you. And all the experts in our team, they understand the market in other countries as well. So we can always advise comparing to other options as well. And what is also very important, that even though it's a luxury real estate network, the biggest luxury is the level of service. It's not about the price tag. We work with different price brackets, it's all about the level of service. And here you can see a part of our wonderful team. We are working in all areas of Cyprus, and we always work with four main pillars, which is we provide expertise, efficiency, ethics, and high level of service. We are licensed agents. As I mentioned before, we are multilingual, and we work with private and private sellers and developers. So, but that's enough about us. Let's move on to what we will discuss today. So we will talk about Cyprus and the benefits of Cyprus. We'll cover in details permanent residence options through property investment and how you can move to Cyprus. We'll talk about simple steps of buying property in Cyprus, and I will touch base on the areas of Cyprus and which one is best for you. This webinar is introductory webinar. So again, if you want to find something deeper, now I started doing advanced level webinars, and we have already done webinars on VAT, on KYC procedures, and we will have one more advanced webinar before the end of the year dedicated in details to all the associated costs and additional cost when you're buying properties. What are the property types and examples of properties, and also taxes and tax incentives for foreign buyers in Cyprus. And as I mentioned before, I will leave plenty of time for questions and answers, because this is the main thing, like to be able to answer your questions and provide value and useful information for you. So let's start with benefits of Cyprus. And again, I believe that you can only do these programs and be efficient in your job if you love the island. Of course, it's not all roses, even though roses and flowers here, we have them all year round. But even with some not so good things, we all do love Cyprus, and we believe that there are plenty of advantages why so many people plan to either relocate to Cyprus or buy property for investment or have a wonderful holiday home here. So the first thing, and in the time that we live now, I think again, safety becomes increasingly important. And we are talking about safety on a macro level, but also on a micro level. Cyprus is still one of the safest countries in the world and one of the safest countries in Europe. And again, now I think that we all understand that your personal safety, safety of your family, and safety of your business as well becomes very, very important. Of course, if we are considering moving, we need to be able to provide to our children good quality education. And the level is very high, and I will touch on this subject as well. Cyprus offers now amazing lifestyle opportunities. In fact, that was my biggest fear when my children were born, and at that time there were not so many opportunities, and I was always very worried that my children will grow up and they will leave Cyprus. But now I can see that there are more and more opportunities to develop, to grow, and this is amazing. So before, Cyprus used to be considered only like a very popular retirement place, and it still is. But now it also offers amazing opportunities for all ages. Cyprus has modern banking and legal systems. And when I say modern, I'm not saying that it's easy. And in fact, you know that now there is again so much publicity about Cyprus, and some of it is not so positive, but most of the facts there and most of the things, they're from the past. Now Cyprus is very strict and very clear and transparent. What is also amazing, that even though it's such a small island, but it has very rich historical heritage. So in fact, you can visit so many archaeological sites, so many historical sites. So even when you are in Cyprus, your cultural life and your leisure time will be filled with extremely interesting options. We have excellent infrastructure, and it is getting better and better. And of course, tax system, which I cover again in details a little bit more. What else? Of course, Cyprus is still associated with sun and sea. And guys, it's true. Today it was such a wonderful sunny day. And this just shows us once again that Cyprus is the sunniest place in Europe, with 340 sunny days per year and with very, very mild winters and autumns and springs. In Cyprus, we do not have any heavy industry. So this means that the air is clean, that we have no heavy pollution, and we still have the cleanest beaches in Europe. Excellent healthcare, again, because it's such an important topic for the point of relocation. I will cover it a little bit later. What is also very important, and you wouldn't think about this from the very beginning, but you would feel it as soon as you come to Cyprus. And I think this is one of the keys for Cyprus being so attractive. And this is the hospitality of Cypriots, the hospitality and how welcoming they are to foreigners. Again, I'm a foreigner myself, but now I never felt unwelcome, and this hospitality extends to everyone. Another important point, even though I mentioned that there is lots of things to do, but of course you want to travel. And when you consider Ireland, this may become an obstacle, but not in Cyprus, because Cyprus has amazing connections and it's so easy to travel everywhere. And again, I personally love the fact that there are more and more flights and carriers coming to Cyprus, because Cyprus is in fact is located on the crossroads of 3 continents. So you can fly anywhere, and because there are lots of different carriers, you can find very, very reasonable tickets, which again makes life amazing. You can fly to Rome, you can fly to Paris, you can fly almost everywhere. Next point is again not so obvious but extremely important. This is British law-based legal system. What does it mean? It means that A, it's precedent law, so it's very easy to understand what can happen. All the documents are in English. So again, it's extremely easy to understand what you are doing. You know, like when you're buying or renting, you will have the contract of sale or contract of rent in English. It is also allowed, it is even allowed by land registry to have dual language. So again, it all adds to the comfort of living in Cyprus. I wrote here English language widely spoken, but to be completely fair, I think that we should add many other languages, because what happens, it's human nature. You know, like first people from one country come, and then more and more people come, and there are clubs, there are schools, there are lots of things associated with the language. So we have big German-speaking community. We have huge Hebrew-speaking community. We have communities and languages from all over the world. But of course, the connecting one, the more widely used is, of course, English, which again makes it extremely easy and comfortable to relocate. Okay, now let's touch a little bit about the living cost. And of course, guys, I have to make a disclaimer, because the living cost in Cyprus can be much higher. I'm going with the starting points, but these are real examples from the real life people. So let's say the water bills would be around from 20 euros up, depending on the number of people. Electricity, roughly 60 euros and up. The petrol per liter now, even though it's higher than it used to be before, it's 150. The public transport is getting better and better. Food is amazing in Cyprus. And guys, those of you who know Cyprus and live in Cyprus, just please support me in this and put a plus. I believe that Cyprus has variety and quality and freshness and everything. And meals are still very reasonable. Of course, you have high-level cuisine restaurants, and there the cost will be much higher. But also you have amazing local food when it will cost you from 13 euros, maybe even less. Insurance from 200 euros. And of course, this is just a little introduction for you to understand what to expect. Healthcare. I think after COVID, we all at the back of our minds, we always think like, okay, what will happen? To be completely honest, the Cyprus healthcare showed itself very well during COVID, and in general, the National Health Insurance Scheme is working amazingly. And under certain conditions, it is open to foreign residents, to foreigners moving to Cyprus as well. So most of the doctors would be, actually all of them will be English speaking, trained in EU, UK, America. If you don't have access to the National Health Scheme, then you will have to go to visit private doctors, and the visit will be between 30 to 50 euros depending on an expert. But if you are from Europe, or if you get permanent residency by investment, which I will cover later, then you will have access to the National Health Insurance Scheme, which again is amazing. And it's, even though we pay in taxes, but actually it's one of the things that you're welcome to pay, because every person has allocation to a family doctor. Every visit to a specialist is only 6 euros. Tests and operations are practically free. We have discounted medicines, and the doctors who work under the scheme, they provide access both to public and private clinics. Okay? And again, life expectancy in Cyprus is one of the highest in Europe, and actually maybe even in the world. And there is a joke in Cyprus that men live until 82 and women never die, which again for us women is a good news. What else is amazing? That Cyprus is actually ranks quite high. The healthcare is ranked as the 26th in the world. Of course, again, it's not Israel, it's not Germany, but the level is quite good. And if you decide to relocate, there are ways for you to get access to this scheme. Let's talk a little bit about education. And here we're, of course, talking about broad terms, but I think that it's extremely important subject if you consider relocation. So first of all, education is obligatory in Cyprus. Every child has to attend schools. There is free education in Cyprus public schools, open to all nationalities. The only thing to consider then, of course, the curriculum is Greek curriculum, and the teaching will be in Greek. But kids catch up language very quickly. If you want to go to different language curriculum, and mainly most schools, they follow British curriculum, there are plenty of really high level schools. And the cost is lower than in most other European countries. Let's say roughly, if we're looking at primary school, it will be between 3,000 to 6,000 per year. If we're talking about middle and senior school, we're talking between 5,000 and 10,000. Cyprus is aiming to become the university center of Mediterranean, and it's actually succeeding. More and more colleges and universities of very high level open in Cyprus. The latest was the opening of American University of Beirut in PAFOS, which provide excellent curriculum and very high level of tuition. there is a variety of sports and art schools, because again, school is good, but we all want our children to play football, to dance, to sing, to draw. Cyprus offers everything. And in general, Cyprus is definitely a child-friendly country. Uh, you will never hear any criticism or bad criticism toward your country or people like being not very nice. What I also love, because not education now is not only for children. We also want to learn new things. We want to dance. We want to do other things, and there are lots and lots of options. I mentioned briefly that one of the reasons, and actually it used to be even more important, and now it's still extremely important driver of interest to Cyprus, but not the only one. I think it's like, the layers of the cake. So you have the first, your amazing lifestyle, amazing weather, education, health. But then as a cherry on the top, you have amazing tax advantages of Cyprus. And I'm not a tax advisor, so if you want to have a detailed consultation for tax, we will be very happy to arrange it with our associates who are the best professionals in the country. But in general terms, look at this slide. You see, I think that when we see so many zeros connected to taxes, this is definitely an advantage. And in Cyprus, we have amazing program for tax residents who are non-domiciled. Non-domiciled, in simple terms, it means that you didn't live in Cyprus for the last, if I remember correctly, you were not tax residents for the last 7 years, and then now you became a tax resident in Cyprus, and then for the next 17 years, you will have 0% on your passive income. This, in fact, is one of the reasons why so many people are moving here. And important to mention, Cyprus is not an offshore jurisdiction or some gray jurisdiction. It's fully European country, fully clean and transparent. We do not have property tax. There is no inheritance tax in Cyprus. If you move to Cyprus and you are retired, then your pension tax will only be 5%. If you move to Cyprus and you open business, then your corporate tax will only be 12.5%. And again, even better, if your business is connected with intellectual property or with IT, your taxes will be even lower. In fact, that was the reason why we have such a huge influx of companies, and government has a headquartering program where they encourage businesses to come to Cyprus, and this program works, and it is really beneficial both for the country and for the recipients of this program. Okay, so now let's go to the next layer of our Cyprus cake, and we talked with you about advantages. Now, let's talk about residency permits, because it's all good if you are coming for holidays. Then you just need either visa or no visa. You know that you will fit within restrictions. But if you want to move, you need to know, and this is valid for non-Europeans, you need to know that you will be able to stay in Cyprus as long as you want. So if you are European citizen, if you have a passport of any of EU countries, and we had a lot, then the process is very easy. In Europe, there are 4 main freedoms, and one of the freedom is freedom to move and freedom to reside in any European country. So if you're European, you can come to Cyprus and live and work as long as you want to. The only thing, you will need to register. And you need to register with the local immigration department within 4 months of entering the Republic. Again, procedure is extremely easy, and by registering, you immediately get access to all the labor force, so you can start working and be employed. And also you have access to the national medical system. Okay, so if you're European, the procedure is extremely easy. If you're non-European, then it becomes a bit more, I wouldn't say tricky, but you need to understand. Because if you're non-European, then you cannot live in the country more than 3 months under the terms of the visa. If you want to live more, then you have amazing program of permanent residency. The most popular program is the permanent residency by investment. And you know, it has many names. It has it's called Golden Visa, Permanent Residency by Investment. The official name of the program is the Fast Track Residency 6.2. And it's very easy program. It is connected with investment. The advantages is that it's lower than in many other European countries, that the PR it's permanent residency. It's not temporary like in many countries where you need to extend. You get it once and for all, provided that you fulfill the criteria. The PR status is granted to the investor's spouse and dependents up to the 25 years old. You also get a home in the sun. You do not have language exam, medical test, or interview. No direct tax consequences unless you want to become tax resident, and a relatively short application period. So the timeline, it's from 3 months. In practice now, we see about 5 to 6 months to get the permanent residency, valid for life. If you do not live in Cyprus, then you need to visit Cyprus once every 2 years, issued for the whole family, and the investment required is 300,000 plus VAT. This 300,000 plus VAT, you can invest in different, yes, Tom, it's the perfect question. If you want to proceed with the fast track permanent residency, then the most popular route would be to buy new property from developer, and you need to buy 1 or 2 properties with a value at least 300,000 plus VAT. You can buy resale, but then it has to be non-residential. It can be offices, commercial space, and on top of that, and this property can be resale, but on top of that, you will need to show the place of residence, either purchased or rented. You can also invest in the share capital of separate company with activities and employees, or invest in units of Cyprus investment funds. But the level of investment is the same. It's 300,000 plus VAT. There are other additional requirements, but if you are interested, please either leave the question here or book the consultation, because I want to cover more general information. There is also another type of permanent residency, which is called Category F, or long track procedure. It's still connected with the place of residence. You need to have connection to Cyprus, and you need to show that you intend to stay in Cyprus. You need to show annual income, and you need to have money in the account. To be completely honest, if we have our investors who are looking for permanent residency, now the previous permit is more popular, because unfortunately with Category F, even though it's not officially cancelled, for the last few years the government didn't issue any permits. And also the big thing with the permanent residency by investment, you can open your company and you can personally be director and the shareholder. And also your children will keep the permanent residency as they grow older. With Category F, they will lose the permit after they turn 18. We have a detailed presentation, and actually soon I will do a video doing all the detailed explanation. Okay, so as we have question connected, if I have European passport but my wife does not, if you're officially married, then your wife will be able to be connected to your permit, so she will be fine. Okay, she will also get, as your wife, she will get the different type of permit. So now let's look a little bit about the buying process. Okay, so to be completely honest, the buying process is quite step by step. It's all very understandable. So you need to understand what you want. Engage real estate advisor of your choice, even though you can buy property in Cyprus without real estate, but because in Cyprus the fees for real estate are paid by sellers by law, it's a licensed profession. We always recommend to go with the real estate advisors because you will get immediately knowledge to much more expertise, and the choice will be much easier. Prepare for your trip. Itinerary, KYC documents, source of funds, book your trip, selected properties, etc., etc. And the next one is pay reservation deposit, sign the sale agreement, and the most important part, enjoy your home in the sun. How we work with the client, the first step would always be an online consultation where we go into details, discuss your goal. Is Cyprus suitable? Because there are cases sometimes that Cyprus may be, in very rare case, will not be suitable, but it's much better to discover it before. What are the specific things to bear in mind? We'll prepare you for the trip. We will arrange for you all the trip to Cyprus and assist with you every step of the way. And in fact, this is why we are now introducing a new experience. We have now created Cyprus Sotheby's International Realty Property Tour, when we do everything in such a way that like buying a property becomes like as exciting as planning a vacation, as professional as buying the property with the investment advisor. So again, if you would like to learn a little bit more about property tour, how we do it, you can find out with us. But in general, it's again, we are making it a unique real estate experience. So remember, one of our core values is expertise and efficiency, and we combine all these core values and put it in this property tour, which is you define your needs, discussed with your property personal manager, receive a personalized route, coordinate all the details of the tour, and then visit with a personal manager or the various properties. So again, just have it in mind that we have this option. Okay. Now, let's go a little bit further because, we discussed with you already a lot of things, and I saw the questions about the mortgages, and I definitely will address it because it is really important question and very helpful. But before that, let's look a little bit at the real estate market. What is happening? Is it good time to buy? Is it bad time to buy? What is happening with demand? What is happening with supply? And here, I'm not going to go into details because A, it's not the point of our presentation, and B, this information is completely open. In Cyprus, we have amazing system which we inherited from the British. We have excellent land registry, and all the transactions are registered in the land registry, and the data is published. So we can see what is happening. And even though last year was amazing, last year was record-breaking for the interest in Cyprus, this year we still see strong demand. Of course, I believe that this quarter we will see the cooling down, but still you can see that the market is very active. I will now be talking a little bit about different areas of Cyprus, but before that, let's see which areas are more popular. If we look at the total sales area sales volume by area, you can see in general we have 5 regions: PAFOS, LIMASSOL, LARNACA, Famagusta, Nicosia. And the leaders is LIMASSOL, and then we have PAFOS, LARNACA, Nicosia, and Famagusta. But if we look at the sales volume distribution of sales by foreigners, we can see completely different picture. And again, I think that it's, again, for me, it's obvious. You see, like the most sales are done by the sea. Because if you're moving to Cyprus, most probably you would want to enjoy this amazing area. And we can see PAFOS is the biggest recipient of foreign sales with 35% of all the foreign sales done here. Then we have LIMASSOL, LARNACA, and Famagusta. And now let's see what are the areas. We have amazing webinars, so if you have time or if you have interest, we will put the link now in the chat so you can watch it at your leisure. But let me just go quickly through the specifics of all the major areas. And again, guys, if you want to receive the presentation that I'm doing now, also you can request and we will send it to you later. So PAFOS, as I mentioned before, this is the area with biggest share of foreign demand. It is located in the western side of the island, and here the numbers, when you see, it's quite small, but for Cyprus it's quite big. So the population of PAFOS as a city is only 50,000, and in the region we have 80,000. But what is important? 4 private major schools, variety of private educational centers and kindergarten, international airport, PAFOS Marina understudy. The PAFOS is the ancient capital of Cyprus, and actually the whole central part is the heritage of UNESCO. There are 4 golf resorts. In fact, all the active golf resorts are located in PAFOS area. In LIMASSOL, it's only developing now. There is a new golf resort developing there. Horse riding, water sport, dancing, arts. And we even done this exercise, like, why could you select Cyprus? So PAFOS is for you if you're looking for the perfect blend of investment potential and a great lifestyle. Real estate prices still offer great investment potential, but the city is already developed and it's green, peaceful, and really picturesque city. It is the capital of tourism. And if you want to avoid the hectic life of the city, but still have all the amenities that it offers. And if we look again, this is just a little sample. We have excellent database of properties. As I mentioned before, we are working with all the areas and we have access to best properties in every price bucket. So here we just selected some of the properties. Let's say 1-bedroom apartment starting from 160,000 plus VAT. All the properties are coming with an excellent finishes regardless of the price, but of course the specifications will depend on the budget. If you want to go for the sea view apartment, you can get one with 330,000, so you can go for permanent residency and get 2-bedroom apartment and get a sea view. 330,000 plus VAT. Villa not far from the sea, 707,000, and many other options that you can either, again, our experts can select for you, or you can browse the website and find more. But let's see now a little bit about LIMASSOL. LIMASSOL is New Dubai, someone can even say, because it's the city of skyscrapers. It's the city with it's a business capital. More and more companies move their headquarters there and move their personnel there. So I would say that if you're looking for the city life, please pay attention to LIMASSOL. In our presentation, we have more detailed information about the pricing, but I will not cover it now. Again, what is important to see? International schools, private educational centers. LIMASSOL Marina is already working. Very easy. If you notice, LIMASSOL is probably the most central location, so it's very easy to go to PAFOS, Nicosia, or LARNACA, and you have lots and lots of options. So if you want to be in the city and you want really the buzz of the bigger city, LIMASSOL could be amazing because it offers active but still safe environment. It has something to offer for all ages and budgets. If you're a business person, family with kids, it can be very good solution. But you know what we are always offering, unless you know what you want, because sometimes we have people who know very well where they want to come. In some cases, they want to experience. During our property tour, we will show you all the areas of Cyprus so you can feel what is the best. Of course, this is if it's lifestyle. If you want investment, then we become very technocratic and we always look at figures and we provide you the best returns. Okay, so LIMASSOL is the well-known business center with many international businesses. LIMASSOL is more expensive. I would say that LIMASSOL is the most expensive city and area in Cyprus. So when you're looking for prices, you need to understand that the same property, if we put it in LIMASSOL, it will be the most expensive. If you look at PAFOS, it will be second most expensive, and then come LARNACA, AYIA, NAPA, Nicosia. So that's why the studio in historic center will start from 213,000 plus VAT. Okay, 2-bedroom from 328. But again, I'm only flicking through the presentation to show you the variety of options. But the process with our company, we first would discuss with you your needs, your budgets, and then prepare hand-picked selection for you. Now, quickly, let's look at LARNACA, which becomes extremely popular. And in a way, that was the city that was a little bit forgotten, if we can say. Now it is going into the rapid stage of development. So you have all the things that you need for comfortable life, but also you have a bigger, in a way, prospects of development, because this area is in a less progressed investment stages, and there are major infrastructure projects that are under development. There is the huge area, the seafront, that is still not developed. So LARNACA has lots and lots of options. And again, what is important, that the biggest airport is in LARNACA. So if you travel frequently and you want to be closer to the airport and you want to drive just 10 minutes, LARNACA is an excellent location. If you want to invest in a developing town and you go with a smaller budget, again, probably LARNACA would be a good option. You see, so modern apartment, 289 plus VAT, still lots of properties near the beach, 340,000 plus VAT, etc., etc. If we look at the interest from Israel, I would say that the two most popular cities, areas, would be LARNACA and PAFOS. So that would be the main focus, and then after that would be LIMASSOL for the higher budgets. If you're looking strictly for holiday house, or if you want something more active in summer and more quiet in winter, then we can look at the area of AYIA, NAPA, and PROTARAS. This is the eastern part of the island, and here again the prices probably would be even lower than in LARNACA, but this is more holiday area, because the number of schools is less, the number of hospitals is less, but again, it is developing. So you see, again, like the point of my presentation was just to give you the broad understanding, but we will be very happy to discuss in more details, more information and each area and your particular request. But again, let's go through some examples. So we have 2-bedroom apartments to 30, we have 3-bedroom apartment 345, which would be one of the lowest, but there is still luxury there as well. You can go for 3 million villa with the seafront villa with amazing finishes. Okay, I'm not going because I can see the time and I want to keep time for questions, but in our presentation, we also do the explanation just to understand what are the standard types of properties and what are the standard types of the standard sizes of properties. So again, when we discuss with you, it's very easy to understand. Is it a standard size? Is it bigger? Is it smaller? And also all this allows us to discuss with you property liquidity and investment potential. Because to be completely honest, even if we are looking and you're looking for your personal home, it's still an investment. We're still talking about we are always talking about big amount of money, and things change. So that's why it's extremely important to understand how attractive your property is, how correct is the pricing of the property that you're considering. And there are so many details and so many intricacies that we need to go through. So I will not go into these in details, but just like to touch base, like what I mentioned, that the same property will cost differently in LIMASSOL, PAFOS, Nicosia, LARNACA, AYIA, NAPA. The property in the center or close to the sea will cost much more than the same property somewhere else. If apartments sometimes per square meter would be higher than a house because there are more apartments bought in Cyprus, and this is a more popular type of property. Year of construction will matter a lot in pricing because the difference in the level of construction is dramatic. And you know, I've sold lots of properties, and the changes how they build now is completely different and much better. And of course, it is reflected in the price. Amenities, legal matters, legal status of the properties, like with our internal procedures, every property that we are selling, whether it's resale or new build, every property passed by our own due diligence. We have in-house lawyer who is checking the properties, but also offers legal services for our investors and for our clients. If you want to find a little bit more, we do our publications. We have Island Life Lifestyle Magazine, where we talk a bit more about everything that I covered here. We also publish, and I'm very proud of this because I love figures, I love statistics. So every quarter we publish Cyprus Residential Market Overview. It's a unique report because we only analyze the residential property, and we give information not only about numbers like real estate does, land registry statistic does. We also look into the value. We look at the price distribution between the price bracket. So if you would like to find more, then you can follow me on Instagram. I have to do it. You can follow me on Instagram, and we will be happy to share the copy with you. And if you want to cooperate, if you are an agent, we're always open for cooperation opportunities as well. This is our office in LIMASSOL, and again, our wonderful team. So, and now we have enough time for questions. So, let me go up because there was a very interesting question and it takes time to answer. 1 second. Yes, so there is a question about mortgages for purchasing an investment home and the VAT issue. Very important question and very useful. So the first thing about mortgages, if you are buying property for permanent residency, you will not be able to borrow money in Cyprus because the provisions of the program state very clearly that all investment amount has to come from abroad from your personal account. So if it's for permanent residency, then we cannot consider mortgages. If it's not for permanent residency, if it is investment home, then Cyprus banks consider and give mortgages, but with quite strict checking. So they will check, of course, your income. They will check your nationality. They will check your proof of funds. But in general, they can consider giving you roughly 50%. In certain cases, they can go even a little bit higher and give maximum up to 70%. They will, again, the interest rate now, if I'm not mistaken, is roughly about 5%. But here we can assist you because we have a mortgage broker that we work with who has connection with all the banks and will be able to consult and arrange everything for you. So this is the first part of the answer. The second about VAT. So in Cyprus, all the new properties and properties under 5 years after completion under certain criteria are subject to VAT. VAT in Cyprus for properties is 19%. But if you are buying property for your personal use, so it means that you declare that you're not going to rent them out and it will be your place of residence and it is the first house that you are using the incentive, then you can have an incentive from the government, which is quite generous. It's 14%, and you will get you will pay only 5% VAT. Okay. Again, if you want to find detailed information, then please leave your request in the for consultation, and we will send you the private link for VAT consultation recording. Okay, let's go. So I answered new or resale. Okay, now for the British passport. As Britain now, after Brexit, is not considered part of the EU, you will need to look into all the procedures and all the programs for non-EU residents, which means that if you want to move to Cyprus, you will need to consider either, and if you want to live in Cyprus, you will need to consider either fast track, permanent residency, or the temporary residency, or the category F. Okay. Yes, of course, we will share the recording, and thank you. It would be nice to share this information with more people. I already said, okay. Illegal immigrants, issues with the North. Okay, you know, the if we're talking about the illegal immigrants, it is happening. I wouldn't say that it's not a huge issue yet, and the government is doing everything possible not to have any issues. So I would say that it's still under control, and the government is doing everything possible not to have such issues. With the issues with the North, again, this is a one-off. I wouldn't be worried about it. Okay, so what is the refund by renting the property per year? I believe that the question is what is the return? So if you rent the property per year in Cyprus, you should consider between 5 to 7% per year. This is the clean rental net income. At the moment, this is what the properties are producing. Also, don't forget that we have capital appreciation, and in certain cases, the capital appreciation from the beginning of construction until the end of construction can be as high as 15-20%. How long is the loan application process on average? I wouldn't, because there are so many personal issues and they take their time to get the questions. I wouldn't go on average, but if you have all the documents, then allow for about 1 month plus. Okay, next question. If solely looking from a value appreciation perspective, will you normally recommend apartment or house? Here I go more with more conservative approach, with the type of properties that is more in demand, and I would probably go with apartment because, again, every year there are more apartments sold than houses, and also apartments, they are more in a way standardized, so they could fit the tastes of more buyers. So if we're only going from the appreciation and the rental return, I would go with that, unless it's something unique, but let's say by the sea. Okay, so next. If I buy a flat, you can rent it to clients. Yes, we will be very happy. We have strong rental department, but we only do long-term rentals. We do not deal with short-term rentals. So that's what we do. Next question. Oh, I love that we have lots of questions. So please advise of rental return in LARNACA and Nicosia versus LIMASSOL and PAFOS. This is an easy question because more or less return on investment will be very similar in all the cities. What will be different is the amount of money that you will need to invest initially. The difference will be maybe plus minus 1% on average, but the biggest difference will be your initial contribution, your initial cost, and also potential of capital appreciation. So, and again, I repeat that in good cases, it will be between 5 to 7%. If I'm buying, very good question from Bassem. If I'm buying a property and would apply for permanent residency, the money should be brought from outside Cyprus? Yes. This is the requirements for the program, that the money has to come from your personal account abroad or account of your company where you are the shareholder, but it has to come from outside of Cyprus. And in fact, one of the documents that you submit is the copy of the SWIFT transfer from abroad for everything. Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much. Yes, we will send the presentation. Okay, now municipal annual tax. As I mentioned earlier, there is no property tax in Cyprus, but there is annual municipal tax. And this tax covers like the municipal services, the refuse collection, street lighting, etc., etc. The size will depend on the area, and it will depend on your property. But let's say consider for a two-bedroom apartment, something like from 200 euros and up. Again, you can register and we will invite you. Beginning of December, I will be doing advanced level webinar for the taxes and for taxes and additional costs. Okay, so for this particular question, do you have your SWIFTs that you transferred the money from abroad. Because if you do, again, please leave your registration, and then we can discuss if you can send us the SWIFT. We will contact the immigration lawyers and give you correct answer. Thank you very much. Okay, what are the loan options for buying apartments? The options are the same. You will need to provide proof that you have enough funds for the initial installment, and the banks will decide whether it will be 30 or 50%, and then it will be they will check the duration, and if they give it in general. And I can see that probably I need to do advanced webinar for mortgages and loans. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for being with me until the very end. I can see that there are lots of participants. I again would like to thank you for your interest. Would like to thank you for your intention to find out more about Cyprus, and I would like to invite you. Even if you don't want to buy property in Cyprus, I would like to invite you to Cyprus. I would like to invite you to visit our offices. We'll be very happy to welcome you, and wishing you all the very, very best, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.